2022 has been one of my best years ever for chasing tornadoes. My success rate and tornado count is way up, but inflation has hit us hard. So that's not the only thing that's also way up. It costs almost double for each tornado intercept this year. 2022 is the first year since the pandemic started in 2020 that things have started to feel normal again. The roads are filled with tourists, something that was not true during the pandemic as most people stayed home in isolation. But the biggest difference between chasing both before and during the pandemic are the costs. Gas prices in 2022 are way up, in some cases double or more what they were during the pandemic. Hotel costs are also significantly greater than they were during the pandemic when hotels were mini ghost towns. Seeing a tornado and storm chasing in general is an expensive endeavor. I chase over 100 days a year, severe weather, blizzards, hurricanes, and floods, and I usually see a dozen or more tornadoes each year. That's one tornado every 10 or so storm chases. And each chase can range from just a couple of $100s to thousands of dollars. In 2022, the cost of seeing a tornado has doubled, but tornadoes don't care about inflation and neither do I, because I love what I do and I want to share that with the world. So let's take a look back at all the tornadoes I've seen in 2022 so far. On March 5th, multiple supercells swept across Iowa. One of these supercells produced a long track EF4 tornado that was on the ground for 70 miles. I would intercept this tornado right as it formed and took on a wedge shape as it blasted through Madison County, best known for its bridges. This tornado damaged homes in Winterset and killed 6 people. Winds in this tornado were estimated to be at 170 miles per hour. On March 21st, a severe weather outbreak was forecast for central Texas. Multiple supercells erupted in the hill country along a dry line and moved east through the Austin, Texas area. One supercell produced a tornado in Round Rock, Texas. I was positioned east of Round Rock in the town of Taylor, watching the supercell from a distance. Eventually, I spotted the tornado and I maneuvered myself into its path north of the town. The storm and tornado intensified as the tornado really hammed up right before it crossed the road I was on, and I narrowly got out of the way of the tornado as it blasted over the highway, damaging homes and a storage center. This tornado was rated EF3.
Tornado!
My next tornado intercept of 2022 was in Arkansas near the town of Caulksville. A supercell formed and moved through the Arkansas River Valley. I'd find myself right underneath the base of the storm with a rotating wall cloud, funnel cloud, and even a tornado that wasn't fully condensed all the way down to the ground. Large trees fell down right next to me as the storm ripped through the area. I even found myself for a second inside the invisible tornado at one point. And then just a few more miles to the east while tracking the storm, giant baseball-sized hail began to fall and destroyed my windshield. Tornado count 3. April 29th was an infamous tornado day in 2022. A classic Kansas tornado chase in the spring with dryline storms forecast to blast the state with possible tornadoes. I would track down multiple tornadoes on this day north of Wichita. But while intercepting these tornadoes, something bigger was happening just a little bit further south in Andover, Kansas. An incredible tornado formed and heavily damaged the city of Andover. Tornado count 4, 5, and 6. On May 2nd, a supercell produced a brief, weak tornado near the town of Loyal, Oklahoma. The storm and tornado crossed the road right in front of me and briefly spun up some dirt in the field next to the road. Another tornado in the bag for 2022. Tornado count 7. May 4th was arguably the biggest tornado day in the Great Plains so far in 2022. A long track supercell in northern Texas produced multiple tornadoes as it moved through the red dirt and mesquite-filled fields of Texas. The first tornado I intercepted this day was caught from distance with this beautiful time-lapse. After this tornado, I continued to the east, tracking the storm, when yet again another tornado, the most beautiful one of the day, formed and sucked up tons of red dirt. I would fly my drone right into the tornado. Bagged 2 more tornadoes on this day. Tornado count 8 and 9. Things went a little cold after the May 4th tornadoes. In mid-May, a large tornado formed near the town of Morton, Texas on an extremely low-risk day. An unexpected treasure for chasers that were out that day. But I unfortunately missed it. I was back home spending some much-needed time with my family in Canada. Tornadoes were then largely absent until the end of June. On June 25th, I would document a weird, freak tornado that spun up as a haboob began to take shape. It was a weird, freakish tornado, but count it. Tornado count 10. July was yet again another slow month for tornadoes. A few tornadoes formed in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but unfortunately I didn't get to see those. But on July 9th, an incredible tornado-warned storm formed with a huge clear slot and wall cloud. This storm would get as close to producing a tornado as you can get without actually getting a tornado. It wasn't until almost a month later that I would see my next great tornado of 2022. A super rare, anticyclonic Landspout tornado formed on the flanking line of a supercell north of Winnipeg, Manitoba. While most tornadoes in the northern hemisphere rotate counterclockwise, this tornado was spinning clockwise. It also wasn't attached to the parent supercell itself, but was riding along the flanking line on the backside of the parent storm. A truly unique and rare encounter, and only the second anticyclonic tornado that I've ever documented.
Incredible tornado here, north of Winnipeg, just west of Lake Winnipeg, Winnipeg Beach, on the ground here.
Tornado count 11. Well, I hope you enjoyed the review of all the tornadoes I've seen so far in 2022. We still have a couple of months left in the season, and if you remember last year, one of the busiest months of the year was December. Second season is just around the corner as that jet stream moves back to the south and becomes the focus for severe weather in the Great Plains, just like in spring. So be ready, I'll be out there tracking those monsters down regardless of inflation, because I just love it, and I love sharing with you all the amazing scenes that I see, especially those monster tornadoes.